All right, why don't I go ahead and just share my screen and get started. Let me try to get the actual browser tab itself. All right, let me know when you can see this, Brett.
Got it. Yep.
Perfect. All right. Hello, everybody. Today is Wednesday, February 15th. This is a local Viking slash local brand manager Wednesday demo. I am Nate Fisher, CTO slash lead technical person here at Local Viking, local brand manager. Today, I am just going to go through a bit of a recorded demo. Feel free at any point in time, you can ask any questions. This is going to be used for training material. Now, today's topic is going to be installing the WordPress plugin and configuring GeoBooster with WordPress. Excuse me if I sound a little under the weather. I've been battling a bit of a sinus infection, but without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right into it because there is a bit to go over today. Now, the first thing to get started, if you are not familiar with GeoBooster, it is the latest functionality that we've built at Local Brand Manager slash Local Viking. I'm looking to pull it out right now, but essentially it is a mobile app that any team member, employee, person that works at a business can have on their phone. And as they're going about their day to day, maybe they're a landscaper, a painter, taking before and after pictures of jobs, they're able to write a little blurb and upload that content from their phone to the local brand manager or local Viking web app. And then it comes into here, and from the web app, we can push that content out to your Google business listing, to your social media channels. And then what we're going over today is pushing the content out to your website. So last week we did a bit of an overview on the JavaScript snippet, and that allows you to display and kind of control the configuration of these moments, which are what we're calling the pieces of content, where they get published. So that JavaScript snippet is if you are working with a website that maybe isn't WordPress, could be a static HTML website, could be a Wix website, doesn't really matter. You're going to be using the JavaScript snippet for basically everything other than WordPress. Today, we are going to look at WordPress. So to get started, and what I have already done is I have gone to the About tab here, and I have downloaded the latest WordPress plugin that is going to give you a zip file locally on your computer. Now, today for this demo and for future demos, we have a imaginary website, if you will, called Hanover Adams York Painting. Chaz and the Web20 team were kind enough to let us play with the site. We have gone ahead and installed the plugin. Now, once you've installed the plugin in this tab here, you are going to see the GeoBooster option show up on the settings tab. And so you can see right here, I have my GeoBooster option. Now, to get your WordPress plugin associated with the GeoBooster plugin, one thing to know is that you can have one or unlimited locations associated with the plugin or with a website. So if you have a multi-location business, you can go ahead and add each of them into this interface right here to give them access to GeoBooster. Now, I've already done that with this example site here. So I'll go ahead and click in. And once you've clicked in, you're going to come to the settings tab. And we're going to do a few things here. So the first thing we're going to do is, and I'll go ahead and just delete these so you can see me do it. Once we've added the plugin, we're going to get these two first items back from the WordPress side. So we're going to come here and copy the webhook URL, and we're going to come here and paste it right into the webhook URL place. And the next thing that we're going to do is grab that bearer token. This is like an API key between the platform and WordPress, if you will. So we'll go ahead and paste that in here. Now, today I'm not going to show posting through Zapier, and potentially there's going to be a small update where we've actually been having a bit better luck with Pabbly in terms of getting a multi-image post through GeoBooster, through Zapier, through to your Facebook or to your Pinterest or any of your socials. So probably next week we're going to be updating and adding a new webhook place here for Pabbly. But we've plugged in the bearer token, we plugged in the webhook token. The next thing here is that every location that we have associated with the plugin or associated with a website, for instance, is going to have a public token. And we're going to grab that public token and just simply click add key. Now, I've already done it here, but let's say that we had another business and maybe we had 5 businesses that are associated with this website. We're going to add each of those businesses through the web app, and then all 5 of those businesses will come to their settings tab, and we will update the 2 fields that you've seen me update here. And then you're going to grab each of those websites' public tokens and simply click add key, paste the token in, do that all 5 times, and then click save. So in this case, I only have one business that I am going to associate with this website, but we support as many businesses as you want. And what we're going to see here in a few minutes is that the business is one of the factors that we can bind GeoBooster content to a page with. So we're going to go through and see actual content being bound. Next step here is going to add the moment categories. So we can think of categories as one of the 3 ways that we can direct content from the mobile devices that you're creating it on to the website that we're trying to publish it to. So we have category as one of these attributes, and we can come in here for a painting company. You can see we've added house painting, commercial painting, faux painting, and power washing. Now, every single time a user is publishing content, maybe we went and did a job, they'll be able to select from these categories in the mobile app the moment that they're creating the content. Or we also have the ability to come into here and we can actually edit our moments in this dashboard here, and we can do things like change the cover photo, maybe fix the grammar, reassociate a moment with a different location, things of that nature. So we've created the categories. Now, the next thing we'll probably want to do is come to the team tab. The team tab is where we're going to control the sub-users of the mobile app. So that is one thing to point out. If you are logging into the web application, which I'm showing right now, that is going to be users of the web application. Now, for users that are logging into the mobile app and creating this content, those are managed via this Teams icon here. So you'll come in here, add anybody that needs to log in and create this content, and then you can choose whether or not you want it moderated and create the accounts. It's going to shoot them an email. As soon as they create their account, they will be able to log in to the mobile app, and then depending on what categories you have created here and what businesses that employee has access to, that is going to be what shows up on the inside of their mobile app. So let's pretend in this demo example here that I have a couple of team members that are painters, and they're going around day after day and they are painting and taking before and after pictures, writing little blurbs about the neighborhoods that they're doing work in, a little description about the type of work that they did that day, anything around pricing, if they can talk about that, how long the project took, materials that they used. These are all great pieces of content to get into these moments, which are then spread to your website, spread to your location landing pages. So imagine that they're just going through their day-to-day, and you can see here our demo posts that there are just some before and after pictures. There's some internal painting jobs, there's some external painting jobs, and then they are posted, in this case, around Pennsylvania in several different cities. So we have our plugin connected. And now let's go ahead and look at what happens as we start creating this content. So in the WordPress side, we not only have our settings tab, but we also have this new icon here, which says moments. And this is where we see the data that is flowing from the mobile applications through the web application into the WordPress website. And we can see here that these are the moments themselves. And we also have businesses that have been loaded up, as well as categories. So if we were to have attached multiple businesses, we would see them available right here. And this slug we're about to see me use is the important part to know about this businesses tab. And then this categories tab here is the categories that we are pushing in. So you can see here, we have commercial painters, faux painting, house painting, power washing. And if we just pop back over, that maps to what we have created in the dashboard. And these are going to be two of the primary mechanisms that we use to get these webhooks or get this content onto pages. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at our help articles, because I want to point out the next thing we're going to do. So we have gone through most of the setup here. And what I want to do now is use the WordPress shortcode to embed this content. Now, if we see here, we have an option to show up these pins into either a map or into this kind of masonry card layout, which every job stacks as a card. And we have those as two different options here. Okay, so this widget here, and let me try to make my screen a little bit bigger. So this widget here is both the pins on maps as well as the mini map right below it. We are populating all of the moments that are being filtered to this page, and they're coming in and being displayed in, I believe this is maybe the masonry format. A couple of things to go over here. So each of these items that we are dropping, that just disappeared, that should be right here. Each of these items that we're dropping are wrapped in a simple check-in schema. They are currently being streamed in most recent, displaying the latest. So you will see soon pagination if you are slamming a bunch of these in. Ideally, you will come in and grab, and I wish this would play a little bit nicer with me. Ideally, you'll come in and you'll grab a few sentences for every single one of these that you're posting. You are going to be giving Google local content that is both niche and geo-relevant. So we do want to try to get in a little bit about the neighborhoods that we're in. You can see here, this is perfect. We're referencing Adams County. We're referencing Littleton, PA. We are just kind of peppering in all of the geo-relevant context that Google is looking for from both the content perspective as it relates to what we write, but also from the maps that we are embedding, from the EXIF data and the geo data involved in these images as you're taking them from your photos or from your phone. And it's just kind of wrapping all of this good localized content into a nice format for Google to digest and constantly streaming it to all of your pages. So today's demo has been primarily just showing you one page here as I struggled with this WordPress installation. But the reality is that let's say that we have a page or we have a website with 10 or 20 pages and we're running service or doing business in all of these geos. Through the WordPress shortcode filtering functionality, we can take our site and we can have pages that would otherwise not be getting fresh content, or might be a little bit of a stretch to get interesting updates consistently done to these pages. We can now all of a sudden just have an open pipeline of content being published to each of our pages simply by coming in and going page by page and changing the shortcode, so that we're coming and saying, okay, for this page that might be Los Angeles, that's commercial painting, let's tag Los Angeles commercial painting and maybe a listing to this page. For my next page, that might be, I don't know, Ventura residential painting. We're going to use the categories of residential painting, the city of Ventura. So we do really have this kind of mechanism for controlling where we're directing content to. Now, if you were on last week's call, we went over the configuration of the GeoBooster widget from the JavaScript snippet perspective. And that was a little bit different of an implementation, where you are able to kind of configure for every URL on your website where you want, what content you want to show up. So that is the major difference between the WordPress implementation and the JavaScript snippet implementation, is that for WordPress, you will be associating each business in the settings tab over here. Right down here, you will be associating each of your businesses, selecting local Viking or local brand manager for your source, depending on where you're coming from, creating these moments, creating this content, waiting a few minutes for it to sink in. So one thing I left out a little bit is that, let's say that you're just adding this WordPress site and you have just published a moment. Number one, a moment takes about 5 minutes to sync from the web app and be kicked out via webhook to all of the places it's going. So you'll wait about 5 minutes. Once that 5 minutes is up, you should see the moments populate into this moment tab here. And then as the moment comes into WordPress, WordPress sees the categories as they come in, and it also sees the businesses as they come in. So if I have 2 businesses that I've added to a WordPress site, but I've only published moments from one of those businesses, we won't actually see both businesses in this category or in this business table until after both businesses have at least one moment published. And then once that moment is published, you should actually be able to go in here. And then you can see some of the data about the moment here. Now, this URL isn't a publishable URL, but this moment is a WP custom post type. So it does kind of fit nicely into this WordPress formatting. And then the most important thing here on the moment level is you can actually scroll down and you can see the address data. And this data right here is what we're going to be using to reverse from the location shortcode directives or filtering parameters. So in this case, if I was filtering by a city and I wanted to know what city that this content was associated with, you can come down here and see that right here we have the Hanover locality called out, and Hanover is the city that we were posting to. You can see a bunch of other data. So again, for the WordPress side, we're just taking all of the pages that we might be publishing to and dropping in the same shortcode with a slightly different parameter filled in, depending on if you want to filter by category, by city, or by GMB location. So to finish the I don't know, descriptive demo here, just want to give one last verbal confirmation. So let's look at 2 different pages. In this case, this would be our Hanover page. And then let's go ahead and grab, I think I had an East Berlin page somewhere. Let's look for it here. That would be our homepage. Abbottstown. Okay, so we have Abbottstown and we have Hanover. Now, what I would do to get moments that are specific to each of these pages, let's talk through two different cases really quick. Case number one, that is a complete imagination because we don't have it, is that we have two different GMBs. We have one GMB for Hanover and we have one GMB for Abbottstown. So we would go through, we would attach both of those GMBs, associate them with GeoBooster, come to our WordPress website, come to our plugin, and we would add two of these keys here. So one key would be for Hanover location, one key would be for our Abbottstown location. Then we would publish a test post for them. And once we've published them, both of those test posts would show up here. And we would see two businesses here, one for Hanover, one for Abbottstown. Both of them would have a slug. And for Abbottstown, we would come through, we would choose where we want our shortcode to go. In this case, it would probably be right above here. We would drop in the shortcode and we would have the shortcode use so I'm going to do pins on map. Let's do it. GeoBooster pins on map. And now I'm just going to go ahead and give you a small example here. So this would be Hanover painting location. And again, this is going to bind every single moment that is related to this imaginary business, Hanover painting location, which would be its slug, to this Hanover page. And it wouldn't do any filtering on categories. So we would get all of those categories. And then for the Abbottstown page, we would come in and do the same thing in our WordPress editor. We would find a block of space or create a block of space, and then we would literally just paste in the same shortcode, but instead of Hanover, we would have a different listing popping in, and this would be the slug of that listing. And now each of these pages, the Hanover page would only have Hanover Moments Publishing, and the Abbotsville page would only have Abbotsville Moments Publishing there. A final thought to leave you with is that just because you are using WordPress does not necessarily mean that you have to use the WordPress plugin. If you do use the JavaScript snippet, you can certainly do the configuration over in Local Viking in the dashboard over here. And then you can do the same thing where instead of dropping a shortcode in, you could just drop a block and then drop the JavaScript snippet in, and that will do the same thing. And you will have a JavaScript snippet controlled widget. Now, whether or not you'd want to do that, there is a bit of philosophical SEO discussion between that. The WordPress plugin does give us the ability to render the moments in the map natively on first load. It's rendered server side. The JavaScript snippet actually renders client side since that is happening on the browser. There's a little bit of a discussion about the efficacy from an SEO standpoint of injecting content in post-load. But I wanted to thank everybody who made it out. If you are a current Local Viking customer, you already have GeoBooster on at least one of your locations. It comes free with every account. If you are not, I do recommend signing up. We are planning on raising prices, probably not on GeoBooster, but raising the overarching package prices in the next couple of weeks here. We do have some big functionality coming out around location auditing that will be dropping this month. So do keep a lookout for that. I imagine that the next Wednesday Q&A will probably be around our auditing functionality. but we will go ahead and keep you updated with that on our Friday newsletter. Everybody have a great week, and I will go ahead and see you in about 2 weeks from now. So thank you for joining us, and feel free to follow up with support at Local Viking or support at Local Brand Manager if you do have any questions, or you can get me direct, nate@localviking.com. Thank you, everybody, and hopefully this was helpful for your WordPress configuration needs.